Town of Pembroke Park Emergency Commission meeting Friday, October 4th, 2019 at 6 o'clock p.m. Pledge of allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cohen?
Here.
Commissioner DeVille?
Here.
Third Commissioner Jacobs?
Here.
Vice Mayor Clark?
Here.
Mayor Mohammed?
Here. Okay, so number one, discussion personnel matters. Okay, so that was the premise of this meeting today. So, Commissioner Jacobs, I'm going to turn this over to you so that you can do your presentation.
Yeah.
Mike,
Pass. Take one, pass them down. Everyone get a go through those. All right. So the reason we're here today is for the best interest of this town. We've had obviously we've had a problem with public records requests. Our minutes are behind. We've had a lot of problems going on. It came down to documents. Those end up being the responsibility of the town clerk of Natasha. For some time, I believe people have been trying to get access to records and documents in here and haven't been able to. Last week, or earlier this week, I believe it was Tuesday, they made entry into the clerk's office. Should be noted that there are 3 rooms in there, and only 2 have been accessed. There is still a third that has a deadbolt lock on it. It hasn't been opened yet. We didn't want to destroy the door, and would hope that we could get the keys to open that versus causing more damage to the building and cost us a little more. In the room here, we came across shred bins. We came across file drawers with empty files. Some of the dates on some of these folders have 2017, 2018. What I'm asking the commission for is to put our clerk, Natasha Joseph, on paid administrative leave for a period of time for up to, but not to exceed 90 days, to give us a chance to investigate what's going on in the clerk's office with regards to documents. I believe we might have, this could be nothing, this could be something, but we need to find out what's missing. We need to conduct a thorough investigation on this and find out what's going on in there.
Can I ask a question, Madam Mayor?
Okay, I got a lot, the problem is we're family all around here, you know, we are. This is our town, this is our community, we're all here for this place. And it's hard to do this, you know, and have an issue with one of our own, you know, and have to go down this. But we've had several complaints, Natasha, and it's all kind of led up to this point, you know, and so we need to, as a town, we need to take the time to figure out what's going on. What I'm asking for is a paid administrative leave, so it doesn't hurt her and her family financially. Why we did make a determination on what is actually going on here. If we have documents that are part of the town that have been destroyed that we need, you know, to see if maybe there's something here bigger than what's on the surface. But without having that separation between the two parties, I don't think an investigation could be completed. Plus, I don't want anything else to be possibly destroyed in the process. This kind of puts everything on hold for a little bit of time, so we could look into it a little better. Go ahead.
All I wanted was
Go
you
ahead.
to identify on the record that
Okay.
you're the one that would be,
I'm the clerk commissioner. I was elected or appointed by the commission as the clerk commissioner. So when it comes to the records, it ends up coming back to me. So this is the reason I called this emergency meeting, so we could discuss this. The way our charter's written, the town manager doesn't have the authority to suspend the clerk or put the clerk on a paid administrative leave. It has to be the commission that does it. So the power comes, or the authority comes back to us on that. In this, in doing this, I'm requesting that the commission, in our resolution that we put together, that we also add in there that we could bring in a temporary clerk to help us figure out this where we're at here. I think that's important as well. And just temporarily bring someone in to help me figure out what's going on, to help the management as well.
so is there a resolution prepared, Madam Mayor, to the attorney?
Chris, is there a resolution?
I have a resolution, but it doesn't have, just would be one to suspend the clerk, but I don't know what
How,
information you have.
okay,
First I'm hearing of it. So,
of what?
additional information that you would want in a resolution.
Of the bringing someone into,
You could- you could- that doesn't mean-
Here's the thing, this is a part-time position for me here, as an elected official, so my expertise is not in records. I'm very good at keeping records, but this isn't my expertise. I need some help. I need some professional help. And I believe we need outside help on this. Here's my thought on it. If records have been destroyed that were, say, requested by someone on the outside, we might actually have a criminal matter. I stayed up the entire night reading Part 119, going through the Florida manual on documents. I've had many sleepless nights going over this, trying to figure out the best option for us to proceed. This hasn't been an easy week for me. In the process, I've learned a lot, but I know when it's time that I need help from someone else as well. And I believe this town needs someone else as well.
Right, and you can direct the town manager, the commission can,
Outside the
yeah,
resolution.
yeah, right.
Okay.
By motion, you to bring in the appropriate
So then that would just,
staff persons that, to assist.
we'll just do that as a non-agenda item?
So it's all part of the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it as a motion? Okay.
But the resolution, if you want to suspend, actually, the term in the manual is suspension, not administrative leave, just to be particular. So there would be a suspension, and the town is allowed, commission can suspend an employee during a period of an investigation.
Okay,
So have the authority under the personnel policy manual.
okay. and I will take any questions anyone may have.
Howard, did you have a question?
No, he's the clerk commissioner, he's not an expert, but he is coming to us. He sees the problem possibly, possibly not, and this is what he's asking.
I will tell you, when entry was made to the office, video was taken of going in, everything that happened. I followed up with taking photographs myself when I arrived at the building here. And these are the pictures I took when I arrived. So this is what I provided everyone here today.
And you're not saying that anything was done wrong, you're just asking you time to look into it. You're not-
I'm saying from my experience and my law enforcement side background, I'm not 100% sure. I can't say either way. And with that in itself, I have doubt on where we're at. So that's enough for me to put us in this position where we need to protect the town and we need to protect the residents. And so this is what my suggestion is. Yes, you may.
And I agree with you 100%. Again, you know, we have to protect the town of Pembroke Park. My question is, investigation, is that getting BSO? I would involved and let them investigate.
At first, I believe we should maybe look internally, and
I wouldn't want anyone to touch any of that stuff.
I realize
And
that.
there's another door that has to be open, I guess.
This is
And
true.
I think that law enforcement would be the best way to go and let them do the investigation.
Here's the thing I will tell you, they get an
That's
officer
only
in
my
here,
opinion.
they do not have the expertise to know what could be missing, what could not. And the problem is, this town this town has not been digitized. Everything in this town from 1957 is on paper and in this building somewhere. It is everywhere, in different closets, different boxes. This last one is the room on the floor above us, the 3 rooms up there, which is boxes upon boxes. The thing is, we found one shredder bin, the industrial shredder sitting in front of it, and a half-full garbage can of shreddings. The other one was another garbage can that had been emptied of shreddings. There's a pile of shreddings, and because we have not been digitized, it's hard to know what has been shredded. So we need to find out what's missing. And once we find out what's missing, then we can go another direction with it. But we don't know. The problem is, I can't tell you what's missing. I know some of the dates on some of the folders that I saw, and they're 2018, 2017, and according to Florida's record retentions, that's in our time frame that we have to have those documents. So that being said, I'm not sure what's all there. So we haven't touched the room, so everyone knows. After I saw the room and photographed the room, I've had the keys to the room, and no one's had access to it since. We did remove the binder machine out after the meeting the other night, myself and finance, just so they could use it for our meetings. But nothing in that room has been touched. It looks exactly the same as these photos do right here. Oh, the copy machine was removed upon their entry. That's something we,
And where is the copy machine?
it's been moved to the mayor's office. It's not a small copy machine. It's the big industrial one that we pay $350 a month for. So we pay a lot for that machine. So it was moved out so it could be used.
My concern is that it is a criminal investigation. I mean, are you talking about having somebody from the outside would you bring in that would investigate that?
That's a good question. I would really have to spend more
Because
time
this
looking
is
into that.
serious
And
business, and looking at these pictures, this is devastating to me. Very devastating. And these are files. This is not good to me. Just looking at these pictures. I don't even want to pick it up and look at it again because it just frightens me.
The thing is it frightens me too. And once I saw it, it backed some worries that I had.
This is scary, and this is not something that you sweep under a rug. This is something that you have to take very seriously.
Unfortunately, it was something I wish that we could have acted on the day that it happened, but the way our charter's written
Right.
and the powers that be, that we had to go through our attorney, which is 100% understandable. He was the first person I contacted in regards to this. And we have to, we had to proceed with the 48 hours, so that's why I've held on to the keys and no one's had access to it but myself. I didn't want anyone being in there, but this is one of those, I have to figure out personally how we're gonna proceed. And I need the time to do that. And, with giving it, by a suspension like this, gives us a separation of parties
Time.
and gives us the time to figure out what's going on. And there could be nothing. Everything could be fine, everything couldn't. I can't tell you either way.
You're
But
absolutely right.
from the evidence that I saw and what I saw going into the storage rooms and the office, it made me very uncomfortable. And I got that little feeling in my stomach that we had to do this. And unfortunately, it's not something I want to do, but it's something we have to do to protect the town.
Absolutely.
Oh.
May I, Madam Mayor? Has anybody asked Natasha if she wants to speak to explain?
My next question.
What all this is, she should have a right to explain. Maybe there's a
And-
reason
and-
why she was commissioners put this way.
I'll tell you again, I have not spoke to Natasha over this. And I 100% believe she has and she should be able to speak to this. But I also have to be able to get the questions together available, the right questions to ask. And I can't do that with the way we're at right now. With her still having access to things, I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? So, the separation of the parties gives us the time to figure out what's going on. And then we can sit down with Natasha and ask the questions that we need. We can find out what, but I need the time to figure out what those questions are.
Years of minutes not being prepared.
And then if I have to rely heavily, I think all of us have to rely heavily on the attorney. He has to guide it. Chris, you have to get involved. You're the town attorney. So you hear the discussion, what.
Chris has been involved since I walked through that door. And this has not been done blind, this is not done lighthearted, this is to the point that we had to schedule an emergency meeting. We're not here because we have some little spoof. This is something very serious and very major.
And we
it's
could be
being
in a lot of
treated as
trouble.
such.
That's my biggest fear.
That's not where I was headed. Chris has to be the lead and give us the guidance, what we can and cannot do. He
Well, okay.
has the responsibility.
You have the authority, the Administrative Service Director, and also as the Deputy Town Clerk, she serves at the pleasure of the Town Commission. That's why the Town Commission has the authority to suspend her from her duties, if so, and the Town Manager does not, because the Town Manager's authority only extends over regular employees, not department heads. But certainly, you can suspend her for a period of time with pay, however you wanted to do that while investigation is conducted, and then direct the town manager to there's probably a lot of resources available through the League of Cities and through other clerks associations.
The Clerks
where they may be
Association
able
has some
to bring
resources.
in, sometimes there's retired clerks or other persons like that would be available to come in and help you to get things organized and then, take an inventory of what you have and kind of put things in a more orderly situation.
Chris also sent out a memo. Okay. So he gave his opinion and advised what had to be done. So based on that, if there aren't any more questions, I'd like for Chris to go ahead and resolution.
Yep, it'd be a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke, Florida, suspending Administrative Service Director, Deputy Town Clerk Natasha Joseph, superseding conflicting resolutions and providing an effective date. Whereas the Town Commission is concerned about the manner in which the public records have been maintained by the Administrative Services Director and Deputy Town Clerk, and believe it is in the town's best interest to suspend Natasha Joseph while the town reviews the condition and the management of the town records. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Commission of the Town of Pembroke Park, Florida, Section 1, that Administrative Services Director, Deputy Town Clerk, Natasha Joseph is hereby suspended from her duties with salary and benefits for a period of 90 days.
Not to exceed 90, right?
You can say, of not to exceed 90 days. Then all resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict herewith, being the same, are hereby superseded to the extent of such conflict. Read that this resolution shall be enforced and take effect immediately upon its passage and adoption.
Motion to adopt?
Second.
You don't have a reason
Second.
to abstain.
No, I'm looking at Chris.
Okay, or
No,
Chris.
no, you don't have,
Okay.
you have to have a basis for abstention.
Okay.
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to bring in outside help, either via the Clerks Association, and I believe this is something we should go through the town manager on. If that's all right with the town manager. You two may have some resources that I
do know
don't
Bob
have.
Enzer, who's a retired clerk from Leon County.
Okay,
And he also worked at the city in that capacity. He's with the Florida League of Cities. I could reach out to him.
I just believe we need to bring someone in who has the expertise that I do not.
And because he was a clerk for years. And Leon County has a big clerk department. So he should know what to do.
Okay, so I'm asking the commission to, for authorization for the town managers to bring in some outside assistance to help with this situation.
I'll second.
Second.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
And then I would like to see, if you don't mind, Jeffrey, put this over to the managers to deal with the managers part-time. And
That's,
if you do that, that would be.
the problem is the way our charter is written, the clerk serves under the commission. So.
Yeah, but Attorney Ryan, can he direct?
Certainly, you could, you could delegate the clerk to have the town manager assist you. You know,
Okay.
it gets back to the part about the charter being severely outdated.
Right, okay.
Dated, but that's not an issue for today's meeting. But going forward, but you can instruct the clerk, the town manager to go ahead and begin the process of, appointing appropriate personnel that can assist the town in getting the records organized and then make it, inventory. Certainly, that's in the purview of the commission.
Then I'd like to delegate that authority over to, or I'd like to make a motion to delegate that authority over to the town manager.
Second.
Roll call.
You're not really delegating, let me take that
I-
back. You're really not
directing-
delegating the
directing,
authority.
directing,
Yeah, just,
directing.
you're
Okay,
directing her to move forward with bringing in appropriate personnel
Okay.
that would be able to assist the town.
That's what.
And I'll
You're not
second.
delegating anything.
And I'll second that.
We can tell the manager.
Clerk Commissioner Jacobs,
Yes.
Commissioner Cohen,
Yes.
Commissioner DeVille,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Mayor Mohammed.
Okay, I just want to say one other thing, because it keeps coming up. I'd rather have it where it has to come up in front of this commission. This was open, transparent, and you got the job done that you wanted, in the direction you wanted to go. When you say the charter is outdated, I don't necessarily believe in that, because you wouldn't have wanted one person to make a decision like that. This way we all made it, it was open, and I feel more comfortable about that than any other one personnel decision. So I would have to.
They're-
disagree with-
Are you referring to?
I have to disagree with what the attorney said, outdated. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that's another day, another
Yeah,
story.
that's not, for today. We'll discuss that another time.
That item's finished, yes.
Okay. So.
Back to me then.
Okay.
So I make a motion to
We have two other items on here.
Town manager responsibility. So, reevaluate what the town manager's roles and responsibilities are. As the town managers here on a day-to-day basis, we are part-time, and they need to have the authority and ability to exercise those rights on the items that they see on a day-to-day basis. When we changed up the ordinances, we took away a lot of the responsibility and duties of the town manager, and we need to reinstate those things. They need to have the ability to hire and fire, for one, which they don't have. And to,
That's not really correct, Mayor. In the Personnel Policy Manual, it says that the town manager does in fact have that authority.
there were a lot of duties that were stripped out of there.
Yeah, regular.
Okay, but this, like, for instance, in this situation, where immediate action should have been taken to safeguard those rights of the town, they were not, because of the fact that we had to go through this process of waiting to schedule an emergency meeting, waiting 48 hours, having to publish it and everything else. And that severely ties the hands of the city manager and assistant city manager, who we entrusted in these roles for those specific reasons, because we are not responsible for the day-to-day operation. And so these items need to be addressed, and we need to have a real town manager's ordinance, as well as assistant town manager ordinance. So, I've started looking at some of the other cities, and I would like for us to reinstate what we had before and also expand those. And I'd like to get a copy of what we currently have.
It's online, it's in the ordinance. It's in the code of ordinances, yeah. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. No,
The first thing down there is give them the authority that on the day-to-day business, that they do have that authority, and that it has to just come back up in front of the whole commission. I really wouldn't wanna see where the manager would fire a director. That needs to come up in front of us. They have a
But they
lot,
should
you
have
know,
the ability to suspend.
to
and-
stop them. I
Yes.
agree with that. To stop everything in motion, I agree 100%. So we can direct them to do that where they have that authority and give it to them. But you don't want them to have to be able to hire and fire a director and some of these key people in those positions. They can stop them, they can put it on hold, and then it can come in front of the full commission. I like the way you handled it. I like the way it went. To me, that's more transparent. We know what's there, and then Natasha will have an opportunity to make any statements that she wants or address this either now or later, and that's fair. That's fair. So I don't see a big problem. We can direct, we have the authority right now to direct the manager and the city manager to do anything that we say. Simple as that. The charter
I
says
think that
it.
needs to be put in writing, that we need them to be able to handle the day-to-day operations, because right now they don't. And this could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, so give them that authority, you have Chris write up statements so we can get it. I have no problem. They're the ones here in the driver's seat. That's absolutely. Tell me what it is.
Yeah, that's where it starts. You just gotta give me some ideas of how you wanna make the amendment. That's fine. I mean, all this is the first I'm hearing about it. So,
Well,
but
first of all-
if you'll just give me the changes you want made, and then go through the regular process of an ordinance, that it goes before the town commission for review at a workshop, and then a first reading, and then a second reading. So it's
For me,
it's
the
standard
first thing
process.
That's most important is they have the authority, because they are doing the day-to-day affairs. If they see something wrong, they're not saying somebody's done something wrong. They just want to stop, freeze it, and then let everybody review it. So that's to give them the authority that they can suspend, stop, whatever is necessary. But I just don't want them to be able to say, I'm mad at, and I know they wouldn't do that, but they get mad at Todd. And how could anybody be mad at Todd, right? Look at his eyes roll back. And then in a moment, they fire him. We don't need that. But if Todd's doing something wrong, they need the authority to stop him. And Agatha, not the assistant manager, the manager, because we do have it where we're looking for her to guide day to day, and she's here every single day, and we are getting our money's worth, I'll tell you that. She's down here working. And so is Noel, but he's the assistant manager, so give her the authority to, when they see something, to question it. That's what, it's not us, it's the taxpayers' money, taxpayers out there.
Yeah,
Chris,
so
I
we'll just
think-
work on a draft, and
I think-
everybody
yeah.
be able to put
Some
their input.
simple,
Yeah,
keep it
it's kind of
simple.
6:30 on Friday.
Keep it simple, you don't need to go overboard, you know what I mean, Shira? Yeah, keep it
Sure.
simple and get.
We can certainly have it for the workshop in November. It's not a problem.
Sounds fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I do want to give them the authority, if they see something, they could stop something
Right.
versus us having to do another 48 hours. I think that should be something that should be
I agree.
directed and giving them the
From what I was reading, though, I believe this was specific to this position. If, from everything I read this week, I believe if this was someone in another department, the management would have the authority to do that. This happens to be because the clerk is for the commission. So, and I believe it was the position specific is why we ended up in this. And please correct me, Chris, if I'm wrong
No,
on
you're
that.
correct. Is that, yeah,
But I think
the
it
town manager
included
had,
department heads too, didn't it?
it exempts department heads. It doesn't have, we didn't have directors at the time this was drafted. So speaks of department heads. So that's why the town manager didn't have the authority to discipline or do any other kind of administrative action.
Okay.
But we're talking about suspending what's going on, stopping it.
Yes, but I want to give them the authority until November to be able to suspend department heads if need be, if something arises.
So let's make a motion right now. We can
I
make a
don't know,
motion
I think
right
that goes beyond the scope of, you can't amend an ordinance by a motion. So you need to go through the regular procedures of amending the ordinance through the proper ordinance procedure, please.
now. Well, we're not playing around, we have to take action. And ultimately, we're responsible because we're the elected officials, so. I think we're all together.
All right, so Chris, as it stands, they can suspend, just not fire?
Well, yeah, the provisions in the personnel policy manual, which talks about disciplinary actions, deals with the department head's authority to go ahead and suspend employees or the town manager. But it doesn't include the executive level or department head personnel. So it's a few number of persons that are exempt from that, but everyone else, the town manager and the department heads first, and then the town manager ultimately can suspend personnel. Not everything has to come before the town commission.
And then the next question is, what about commissioners? Commissioners that go around and you hear these rumors that they're butting in and interfering.
I think that's going to be
Commissioner
addressed,
misconduct
that's going to be
is a whole
addressed
nother
in the
situation.
procedures, policies and procedures, which is being drafted as to separation between commissioners at day-to-day operations of employees and things of that nature. So there'll be a clear demarcation between what is the chain of command, if you have an issue, you speak to the town manager, and they go back down to the department head and down to the employee, as opposed to directly to the employees.
Those, all that also goes for item number 3, assistant town manager's roles and responsibilities, so I guess we'll work on that for next month. All right, motion to adjourn. Any other items? Anything else?
No,
Commissioner
yeah,
comments?
I do, yeah,
Okay.
Commissioner comments. As the vice mayor, I want to say that, do I have to make a motion that the manager, they have to have this audit and all that we're going through? I mean, that is pretty serious, and that's what.
That's all being worked on,
Okay, but
as
do
of
I
today,
need-
every
do I
day is
need
being
to
worked
make a
on.
motion to give them that authority?
No,
or they already
no,
have it?
that's straight within the authority in
think
the ordinances it's written now, that the man, that's one of the duties of the manager, is the financial management of the town.
So that's all dealt with?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good job, Jeff.
Motion adjourned?
Second.
Aye.
No, I have someplace to
Who
go.
wants to go somewhere?
Okay, motion to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:38.